Energy, Telecommunications and Transport. His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Richard Vernon, JP, Mayor of Montego Bay. Mr. Audley Diedrich, President and CEO, Airports Authority of Jamaica. Board of Directors, Executives, Management and Staff, Airports Authority of Jamaica. Mr. Nari William Singh, General Director, Air Navigation Services, Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority, and other members of the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority. Mrs. Chenny Russell Robinson, Principal Director, Acting, Transport Policy, Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport. Mrs. Odette Sobram Dyer, Regional Director, Jamaica Tourist Board. Ms. Joy Robertson, Executive Director, Jamaica Vacations Limited. Mrs. Kerrion Kualo Cassidy, Area Chair, Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association. Board of Directors, Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Representatives from the various government agencies, airline representatives, concessionaires. Mr. Shane Monroe, Chief Executive Officer, MBJ Airports Limited. Other executives, management and staff of MBJ Airports Limited. Representatives of the media, other invited guests. Good morning all. My name is Sharon Hislop-Holtz, Manager, Commercial Business Development and Marketing with MBJ. And on behalf of MBJ Airports Limited, it is a pleasure to welcome you to our first Airport Forum for 2025. Today, we will update you on the latest developments at Sangster International Airport, including ongoing projects, new initiatives and enhancements aimed at improving the overall passenger experience. Our CEO, Mr. Shane Monroe, will share valuable insights into the current traffic trends and the transformative developments currently underway, all designed to elevate the experience of all our airport users. Today, you all will have the opportunity to raise any questions you may have, which will be taken and addressed at the end of the session. We invite you to send your questions via the chat button. If you're using a computer, the chat button is located at the top towards the left, and if using a mobile phone, the chat icon is located at the bottom towards the right.
Honorable Caribas, Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport. His Worship the Mayor of Montego Bay, Mr. Richard Vernon. Mr. Shane Monroe, CEO of MBJ Airports Limited, and other distinguished guests and stakeholders of this Airport Forum, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow stakeholders in our aviation industry, the Sangster International Airport in particular, I greet you all. It is my great pleasure to address the first SIA Airport Forum for 2025, hosted by its operator, MBJ Airports Limited. The biannual Airport Forum represents a special provision under the MBJ concession agreement with the Airports Authority of Jamaica for the operation of SIA. The forum serves as a vehicle for the airport operator to provide full briefing on the update to the airport stakeholders on their stewardship of the airport operation and inform them of the plans and programs that are being implemented at the airport. Equally important, the forum provides stakeholders with the opportunity to hear their issues and concerns and make recommendations for consideration on matters that would improve the airport's operation and its service quality and delivery to its users. It is therefore of importance that stakeholders take full advantage of this grant provision and opportunity created by the Airport Forum under the concession agreement. By attending and participating in the forum, stakeholders made their contribution to the concession administration process, which will benefit all the stakeholders of the airport, our air travel and tourism industry, and by extension, the country as a whole. I now turn, ladies and gentlemen, to give an overview of the state of our aviation traffic, especially post-COVID-19, and where we are today. So, following the gradual and moderate recovery of Jamaica's airport traffic in 2021 and 2022, post the COVID-19 pandemic, the year 2023 delivered a remarkable performance of recovery, with Jamaica posting total traffic for 2023 of 7 million passengers versus 6.5 million passengers in 2019. That represents a recovery of 7% versus 2019 traffic level. MDJ and SIA, which is SIA, posted traffic of 5.27 million passengers in 2023, that grand year of recovery, versus 4.7 million passengers for 2019, which for them represents an 11% increase above the 2019 traffic, while NMI posted 1.7 million passengers in 2023 versus 1.8 million passengers in 2019, which represents a shortfall, small shortfall, from 2019 of 5%. The remarkable traffic growth and recovery posted for 2023 was expected to continue into 2024. However, the year 2024 has seen a pause in traffic growth compared to 2023, with Jamaica's total traffic for 2024 rounding off at 6.8 million passengers versus 7 million passengers for 2023, and represents a slight downturn of 2%. MDJ through SIA posted 5.1 million passengers in 2024 versus 5.727 million in 2023, which means that the downturn that we saw in 2023 continued into 2024. While PACA NMI posted 1.76 million passengers for 2024 versus 1.7 million for 2023, which represents basically a break-even position of 1.5% above the previous year. The important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that while this downturn can be attributed mainly to exogenous factors such as negative travel advantages, the United States of America elections, which is our major travel partner market, and equipment issues with aircraft availability challenges in the airline industry, we should also factor in the impact of Hurricane Barry in 2024. So all these factors in combination would have impacted what we saw in 2024 as a slight dampening of growth in traffic. The slump in our aviation traffic continues into 2025 versus 2024, where the results for the year to date, May 2025, now shows an overall decline of 2%, driven by a 6% decline in SIA, but importantly and encouragingly, NMIA recorded growth of 9% year to date. Notwithstanding the downturn recorded for 2025, Jamaica's aviation traffic is expected to rebound, driven by tourism traffic growth, hence a projection of 6.9 million passengers for 2025 is still being held, and we expect that by 2028 we should be at 7.7 million passengers. Our new kid on the block, the Ian Fleming International Airport, welcomed American Airlines in February 2024 as its first scheduled commercial carrier from the United States with twice weekly service. As of December 2024, the American Airlines increased its twice weekly service to daily service into IFIA. This expansion of service into IFIA is expected to continue based on the demand being shown for this service. Therefore, IFIA, influenced by the American Airlines traffic, posted a total of 19.4 million passengers in 2024 and is expected to continue growing to 25,000 passengers by 2025 as we look forward to the traffic growing incrementally, possibly to 50,000 passengers by 2028 from this service. Other air services in IFI are being pursued, which is expected to significantly increase traffic of that airport going forward. I would like to touch, ladies and gentlemen, on the AAJ's corporate and social initiatives that it has been undertaking as a responsible public sector entity. The AAJ continues to play its role as a grateful and responsible corporate citizen in the airport environment in order to support the trust of the airports and the wider travel and tourism industry. As such, the AAJ continues to do the facelifting and maintenance of that roadway from the roundabout at Harborview and at Rockford, and spearheading an initiative to carry out ongoing facelifting, beautification, and maintenance of the corridor from Port Royal to Rockford. This is an initiative jointly, coordinated between Port Authority, the Airports Authority, and TPDCO. The AAJ continues to support and sponsor the annual UBC fireworks in downtown Kingston, as well as Oterios, and the Montego Bay event as well. That is done at each Christmas time, New Year's, pardon me. We continue to support various events and activities to recognize and celebrate our emancipation period, Independence period. We support the festival content, we support the Oterios Festival, we support Emancipes activities, and the Grand Gala at National Stadium. Importantly, the AAJ continue a very attractive and meaningful summer holiday employment program for secondary and tertiary students with placements for work experience in organizations across Jamaica. Finally, the AAJ's Aviation Scholarship Program for training of pilots and airport management personnel was launched in December 2024 with the award of 33 scholarships to the first 2 cohorts of applicants. While these efforts are aimed at giving support to the airport users, they also are more so in support of the wider public and the travel and tourism industry, for which the organizations mutually benefit. Therefore, colleagues, in closing, I must again commend Mexican company GAP and Canadian company Advantage for staying the course with PACAL and MBJ through the difficult period of recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic and issues that we have been attending with these airports during that period. And they also continue the investments that they make in upgrading the facilities and systems at NMIA and SIA. We now look ahead with great anticipation of continuous improvements in SIA service quality as MBJ continues its capital development and maintenance programs. As stakeholders of SIA, you are called up to work together with the common goal of ensuring that SIA remain the leading Caribbean airport as rated by the World Travel Awards program for 16 years in succession, as we have seen in the last award they received. As we are now entering the summer holiday period as well, with various entertainment, sporting events, and national Emancipation celebration, we anticipate some uptick in our national traffic. However, remembering that we are now into the hurricane season, the necessary planning and preparation needs to be engaged both in our airports and nationally. I therefore call on you today, colleagues, to enjoy today's proceedings with full participation for maximum benefit to all of us as airport stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Diedrich, for your greetings. And we are happy that we have this medium that you can share what's happening here at MBJ, NMIA, as well as what AAJ is doing, not only for airports but also for the public. So thank you very much. And as you noted, while we had reduction in traffic last year that kind of spilled over this year, we do not anticipate that that will continue for much longer. And so MBJ, we are committed to continuously improving the facilities here at the airport to ensure that when we have the traffic, the rebound in the traffic, we will be able to manage the capacity. And so thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite Mr. Shane Monroe, CEO of MBJ, who will provide us with an updates on the air service development and infrastructural development works designed to support the continued growth in passenger traffic and improve the overall passenger experience. Mr. Monroe, welcome.
All right, good morning, everyone. Certainly, we wish to welcome you again to Sangster International Airports Forum, our first for 2025. We welcome our Minister, Honorable Darrell Vaz, who will give a presentation at the end of the session. His Worship, the Mayor, also Richard Vernon, Mr. Diedrich, President and CEO of Airports Authority of Jamaica, Mr. Nara Williams Singh, Director General of the JCAA, and other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the media. Welcome to this important airport forum where we have the opportunity to share with you the significant progress we have made and the exciting developments planned for Sangster International Airport. Over the past 22 years, we have had the privilege of serving millions of passengers while continuously working to enhance the experience and to support Jamaica's tourism industry. Today I want to update you on the meaningful improvements, the projects that are currently underway, and our plans to further strengthen Jamaica's position as a premier Caribbean destination. Our focus remains clear: to provide exceptional service to every passenger while contributing to Jamaica's economic growth and supporting the communities we serve. This year marks a special milestone as MBJ Airports Limited celebrates 22 years of operating Sangster International Airport. And over these 2 decades, we have evolved from a small airport into what we are today, the Caribbean's leading airport by the World Travel Awards. For 17 times, over 84 million passengers served with distinction, over 940,000 movements, over US $363 million in investments, and over US $450 million in direct contribution to the Jamaican economy, not just in taxes, but in concession fees as well. Jobs created: over 7,000 employees or staff work at the airport, and over 400,000 square feet of facility constructed and upgraded. The airport today serves 45 destinations across the world and 29 airlines providing global connectivity. Our vision is certainly to be a leading tourism destination airport, exceeding the expectations of our passengers while being uniquely Jamaican. This vision drives every decision we make and every project we undertake. As Jamaica's premier tourism gateway, we recognize the profound responsibility we bear. Tourism is the lifeblood of Jamaica's economy, and Sandster International Airport certainly serves as the gateway, welcoming over 80% of Jamaica's international visitors. The strength of Jamaica's tourism performance is intrinsically linked to our performance as well. Jamaica's tourism sector is experiencing unprecedented growth, with over 10,000 new hotel rooms to be added to our destination's inventory. And this certainly drives the projects that we will speak of today. So our role extends far beyond aviation operations to include being an economic catalyst, enhancing directly Jamaica's tourism competitiveness and economic growth, capacity enabler in terms of infrastructure to support the growth in our tourism product, but also growing the destination, marketing, partnerships with our industry, and certainly we see ourselves having a role to play as a cultural ambassador for Jamaican culture, music, art, and hospitality, which is central to our strategy of incorporating a sense of place of Jamaica in the airport experience. So I'd like to give at this time an overview of our traffic year to date. Passenger volume for 2025 is just about 5.3% compared to 2024. The latest figures that I just mentioned are up to June, which we received this morning. So there may be a slight variance on the slide. The important news here is that whilst we see that we started the year at minus 7.5%, we are seeing a gradual recovery as we head towards the summer. We're down to minus 2.1% up to May. And of course, impacted by wider economic and industrial factors, delays in aircraft delivery, inflation, some cooling of pent-up demand. However, positive news is changes in the travel advisory and also announcements made by various airline partners about additional service to be added to Jamaica for the summer and the winter season. Looking at aircraft movements, we are just about 4% or 9% less than 2024. This is largely due to the factors previously mentioned. However, importantly, we have not lost any routes, and in fact, our connectivity is growing, which we'll speak to later. Cargo and mail, again, affected similarly by the issues mentioned. Our cargo here at MBJ is largely in passenger aircraft and dependent on the fleet mix to destinations such as Canada and the UK, and of course our agricultural exports. This is an area of an opportunity, and we expect to see it recover over time post-COVID. Market share. Of course, the United States remains the largest market for MBJ at 72%, followed by Canada at 16%, the United Kingdom at 6%, and Europe at 3%. In terms of airlines operating at MBJ, American Airlines remains our number one carrier. 22% of the traffic to MBJ is facilitated on American Airlines, followed by Delta, 15%, JetBlue at 11%, Southwest Airlines at 8.9%, United Airlines at 8.2%. So certainly these carriers have just about 50% of the market, but then followed by our Canadian carriers, Air Canada and WestJet, and then TUI being the next leading airline. In terms of routes to Montego Bay, Toronto continues to be the number one route for Montego Bay. The figures we have, latest figures, 238,000 passengers, followed by New York, JFK, Atlanta, Charlotte, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Orlando, New York, and Baltimore. Certainly, some cities are performing better than others. Notably, Atlanta continues to see growth compared to last year, and Miami, we are also seeing growth compared to last year with additional service added for 2025. In terms of routes with the highest year-over-year growth, exciting news here is certainly the performance of LATAM out of Lima. We're seeing exceptional growth in South America continent connectivity. We also have Avelo out of Hartford, and certainly expanding into the New England market. Nassau continues to grow, strengthening our Caribbean connections. Durham out of North Carolina. We're also seeing strong growth in Indianapolis and Philadelphia, and also Copa out of Panama City as well. Certainly, we are seeing some diversification in our traffic beyond North America. While it remains our largest market at 72%, we are strategically working with our tourism partners and the Ministry of Tourism in diversifying our route network to reduce dependency and to open new growth opportunities across multiple continents. These new international routes represent more than just additional destinations. They are strategic investments in Jamaica's future competitiveness. By diversifying beyond our traditional North American markets, we are creating new visitor source markets that provide opportunities for growth and for market resilience. Looking at some of our recent achievements in route diversification, we mentioned Lima, Peru, that breakthrough into South America. We expect to see it to continue to grow year over year. For 2025, we had Avelo starting out of North Carolina. They launched on February 12th. They are flying 2 times weekly to Montego Bay. We have additional service out of Fort Lauderdale from Caribbean Airlines. They launched on March 11. They're operating daily flights to Fort Lauderdale. Recently, we had the launch of service from Lisbon, Portugal, with World to Fly on June 4, once weekly, and that's certainly connecting Jamaica, further connecting Jamaica to continental Europe. We're also excited to see the upcoming launch of LIAT 2020 service to Antigua. It has been a while since Montego Bay had direct connectivity to any Caribbean destination, and that may come as a surprise to some. But certainly, we look forward on July 11 to see direct flights between Montego Bay and Antigua, and the connectivity now being extended beyond Antigua to the eastern and southern Caribbean. Additionally, one exciting feature of this new service is the introduction of a domestic leg between Kingston and Montego Bay, and certainly that's something that the Jamaican aviation industry has not seen for a very long time. Also, upcoming winter season enhancements in service from Air Canada, Ottawa, and also Halifax. Again, we expect to see the traffic continue to improve going towards the end of the year and towards the start of the winter season. Looking at infrastructure, over the years, Sangster International Airport has seen significant investments. We had the Gate 7, 8 departures area expansion, of course, additional seating capacity, circulation space, enhanced passenger experience as well. We have invested heavily in technology, 60 self-service kiosks added to the airport and utilized throughout the day for check-in or flight information systems upgraded, but also restrooms. We have upgraded all our public-facing restrooms. We continue to add to this in terms of inventory to our facility. In terms of the expansion, we'll see additional restrooms, an expansion of the restroom in the baggage claim area, which will be further renovated, and then restrooms that exist today in the immigration hall. Those will be decommissioned once the new restrooms have been constructed, as well as the renovation of airside restrooms utilized by our staff. We're also very heavily focused on environmental sustainability. Our first phase of solar being 1 megawatt, and our second phase added an additional 2 megawatts, which is now live and in use, certainly aimed at reducing our carbon footprint, but also our energy costs as well. Ground transportation improvements recently completed include car park facilities. We also recently, just June 1, introduced our Park Smart initiative, really to manage the passenger flows. That so far has been successful in terms of having a departures and an arrivals car park separately available for passengers. The commercial pickup area, that area, or the current area I should say, that area is in full use. We can also expect to see the relocation of Knutsford Express to a new location adjacent to this area shortly. Knutsford Express is of course a valuable partner, providing multimodal connectivity to our passengers, certainly to all major urban areas in Jamaica. And this will facilitate a future project which we will mention in this presentation. Our AirSea Lounge is in full use for AirSea. Of course, Montego Bay has a unique role to play in terms of porting, but this facility just shows the renders, but also the final image, how closely they match in terms of this new facility. We're also working on several projects. If you visit the airport, we have several projects underway at various parts of the terminal building. The check-in hall expansion that involves creating a new facade at the front of the airport. That current wall is already installed. The canopy has been erected, and further finishes are underway curbside. We'll also see the we had the removal of the former restaurant that was there, and we will see Mothers, which is a new F&B concept, opening up for the summer to the public for this summer. Additionally, we have the immigration and security expansion. That project is well underway as well. That project will see to doubling the capacity of the immigration hall, up to 2,600 square meters, centralized processing, additional immigration kiosks being centrally located. Right now they are located on the two wings of the airport, but we'll also have a unified entry of passengers from the west and east via a new vertical core, new escalators, elevators, and certainly room for expansion of enhanced technology with biometric systems and e-gates. Outbound security enhancements as well. Again, further capacity increase of outbound security, doubling the size of what is there today. We have 8 security lanes outbound. That will increase to 12 lanes, but also advanced screening equipment being added to this location. Of course, we are always concerned about facilitation and experience, but we have to maintain security as well. One of the new additions to this space will see the introduction of ASL's automated screening lanes. Certainly, we are using the technology, the latest technology, to quickly process passengers through this area. West Concourse upgrade, that is also underway. This is the oldest part of the terminal building, and so we had recently added new retail options to this area. Those are already operating, but we are redoing the finishes here. We are adding windows along the entire north wall from gates 1 to 5, and that will bring natural light into the space. And those works are well on the way, and we expect that will add to the experience of passengers on the west, similar to other areas of the airport. Gate 6, 7, renovation. We have a new ramp being added, new vertical circulation ramp, and that will allow for simultaneous operations, removing conflicts between gate 6 and 7, but also adding again further whole room space for passengers using these gates. In terms of landside developments, we recently added an additional parking area. This was just recently completed. Markings are the only item remaining. This will be open to the public this month, adding to the inventory in our departures car park. We are also working to construct a new western access road. The photo on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen shows the progress is well underway. We expect it to be completed close to the end of this year, but that adds a new entryway into the airport from Godfrey Dyer Boulevard. It's an alternate access to the main roundabout, and we're looking forward, certainly in the winter season when the traffic in Montego Bay increases, that we will have improved flow in and around Sansa International Airport. In terms of renewable energy, we are also actively working to complete the commissioning, installation and commissioning of the additional 3 megawatts of solar PV. There you can see the battery energy storage system that's already installed, and that's a critical piece as we are moving towards renewable energy over 50% in terms of what the airport uses. So that's a crucial element of the installation, but certainly allows us to continue to achieve our goals to reduce our carbon footprint and our participation in ACI's carbon accreditation program for carbon emission reduction. Of course, there are cost savings as well, but we are very keen to reduce our carbon footprint here at SIA. In terms of Interior, we have active projects working on now to replace all inbound carousels. We have 6 inbound carousels today. That will increase to 7. The first carousel is already installed and in use as we speak, and all of the remaining 6 we'll see new carousels for prior to Christmas. Certainly just in time for the winter season. The East Concourse, we are also working on expansion of that area that adds 15,000 square meters of additional old room space. One important elements of this project is also the addition of additional escalator and elevator for passengers heading from East Concourse towards the Immigration Hall. The East Concourse is where we will see further expansion of the facility, and so we are certainly keen on improving the arrivals experience as much as we have worked on the departures experience over the past few years. So certainly this project brings enhanced circulation space for wide body gates, which are mainly the type of gates at the East Concourse. Digital revolution, and just these images are showing what the expanded East Concourse will look like on the north and also on the south. Biometrics is a very key part of our strategy. We would have seen the success of the introduction of biometrics on arrivals. We are actively working on bringing that experience to the departures area. Already, we have all our face pods installed at the gates, and those will allow for biometric boarding. We are now installing the self bag drop equipment at the check-in area. That's an active project. It's already being installed and will be commissioned shortly. But that brings certainly opportunities for passengers to check in off-site, to use self-service kiosks to drop their bags using the technology, and then the addition of e-gates and outbound security will allow for passengers to move seamlessly onwards to the departures area, through the retail area, and then to be able to board their flights. We are working with our major airline partners, or some of our major airline partners out of the United States, who will be part of the first phase of this project, which will be introduced to our passengers later this year. Other major infrastructure development that we are working on, Wi-Fi upgrades. That's very important for passengers throughout the facility. HVAC systems are being upgraded as well. We recently replaced the baggage claim area. We replaced the unit there, but also other parts of the terminal. We're adding or replacing air handling units to improve the climate thermal comfort for our passengers. And also landside roads and parking facilities, as mentioned. We're working actively to upgrade that. The next project that you will see is front of house, in front of the check-in area and in front of the boomerang area, where we will be reorganizing the road there with the final curb configuration and landscaping, and quite an impressive project there to come. So, I'd like to speak to the next 5 years. We recently concluded the tariff review process with the authorities, and that is aligned with our 2026 to 2030 master plan. US $118 million is committed for projects, for future projects within this period, and that is speaking to the continued transformation of Sangster International Airport. And these projects are necessary to support growth in passenger traffic up to 2034. So some of the major projects, future projects that are planned include the departures promenade. So we would have completed the check-in area. We'll have the boomerang, as we call it, related to the expanded outbound security and immigration hall. But then we'll also have the construction of the departures promenade, a canopy extending from departures all the way to arrivals. Again, this will be a solar canopy aligned with our environmental initiatives, additional doorways to enter the check-in area and covered areas for food and beverage. We continue to build out our landside facilities. You will see new food and beverage options added even in very short order to the landside. Our partner Express Catering working on that project now as we speak, but then additional food and beverage opportunities will become available in this area. The goal certainly is that front of house, it should be a very welcoming space, and our intention is that this is a space that even if you're not traveling, you will feel welcome and wish to visit this area to partake of the food and beverage and other amenities that will be on offer. The arrivals expansion, this is also a very important project for us. Enlarging facilities specifically designed to accommodate the increased passenger volumes. Mentioned earlier, over 10,000 new hotel rooms and many world-renowned international hotel brands that are entering the Jamaican market. So this project will see additional hotel lounges, dedicated spaces certainly for the many hotel brands that operate in Jamaica today and those that have been recently announced. Our commercial bus operations will be relocated. We mentioned that the Nussford facility will be relocated as well, and a new area to be constructed for ground transportation operations. So we are speaking to all our ground transportation operators where the buses and the various vehicles are today for hotel transfers. So certainly aimed at improving the passenger flow through arrivals. As mentioned, we previously focused on departures, but our intention once completed is that we would have brought that same experience to the arrivals journey, coming through immigration, having been expanded, baggage claim being upgraded, new carousels, renovation of the ground transportation hall, and new hotel lounges added to the airport, certainly aligned with our sense of place and to create a resort style experience at the airport. Additionally, the East Concourse will be extended. So now we're working on the expansion on the north and the south, but the East Concourse will be extended towards the east. The main driver for that, when we did our master plan study, was the need for additional gates. We operate with a very busy peak period. Majority of our flights arrive between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. and we're seeing and projecting the need for additional gates at MBJ. This project will extend the terminal building towards the east, realign the taxiway center line, and add an additional 4 contact gates for aircraft. Additional circulation, of course, and additional seating areas. Other projects planned for 26 to 2030, we are replacing our common new systems, upgrades there, continuing to ensure that the airport has the latest technology that is available anywhere in the world. Comprehensive upgrades of our IT systems for operational efficiency, use of biometrics, data management, access control and video surveillance systems, security enhancements as well with replacement or purchase and installation of new X-ray machines at our security checkpoint. This is for outbound areas, and this aligns with our master plan recommendations for the security process. We've mentioned automated screening lanes. That will be a new feature here in Jamaica. New fire trucks as well, and this is to ensure that the airport is able to continue to meet or exceed compliance with international standards as it relates to emergency response capabilities. Infrastructure upgrades also on the air side, rehabilitation of taxiways and rehabilitation of apron and runway areas, apron and taxiway markings, again further enhanced. And we continue to upgrade the facility further in terms of HVAC and our baggage system. So certainly, in addition to the many projects that are on the way to transform Sandstone International Airport, but many significant projects yet to come. At the end of this process, certainly a full transformation of SIA. Customer experience is also very important for us. This has been one of our key initiatives in the last few years. Our customer service team there highlighted, who are actively working to bring that excellence in customer service to all stakeholders. And we recently had this year our CX Excellence Awards program, where we recognize outstanding service delivery and to foster a continuous improvement in culture, in passenger experience offered to passengers here. And this is aimed at all stakeholders: airlines, ground handlers, retailers, restaurants, government agencies and service providers. They all receive training now from MBJ on CX, and certainly we continue to highlight those who continue at every touch point. So not just at the usual points you think of at check-in, but we're talking those who are our red cap porters, even our janitors have a crucial role to play, those who screen our passengers. This is a process of continuous improvement. We are on a journey, and certainly this is only the beginning and not the end as we continue to build on that. Looking ahead, certainly MBJ is committed to excellence on every step of the customer journey. On arrival and on departure is an opportunity for us to win the heart of the visitor to Jamaica, so that they will choose to visit us again and again, that they will share their experience with their friends and families. We want our passengers to have an emotional connection to our country, and by extension to SIA, by creating wow experiences every step of the journey. The vacation should start the moment they land and continue until the moment they leave. The technology assists with making the process seamless. We focus also on sustainable growth because the airport operates in the community, and we have many projects now aimed at community development in White House and a major project in Flankers as well. This vision is really realized only through partnership. MBJ really has less than 200 staff, but over 7,000 people work here. So we certainly value the role of our industry stakeholders, the airlines that continue to trust us with their operations, the tour operators who guide visitors to our shores, the hotels and the resorts that create unforgettable experiences, the JTB and other tourism stakeholders who attract passengers to this destination, but also to our MBJ team. They are frontline customer service, but behind the scenes also, working in emergency and in airport operations and maintenance. And our admin staff, they are the heart and soul of MBJ, and they are the success and the persons behind even our ISO certification that we have in 4 areas: in quality management, in information systems, environmental, business continuity, and certainly the critical role they play in MBJ being the Caribbean's leading airport. The entire airport community, or immigration officers as well, who welcome passengers, customs, who ensure smooth transit through arrival, security, who maintain safety, our ground handlers, retailers, persons in GTH or cleaning crew. Everyone has a critical role to play in passenger excellence. So our partners at Club Mobile and our concessionaires as well. Together, we don't just serve passengers, we serve Jamaica, and every smile shared, every problem solved, every extra step we take helps a traveler create a lasting impression that reflects the very best of our nation. Thank you.
One second. I'm muted. Yeah, it's still muted.
We should say something about it.
No.
Thank you very much, Mr. Monroe. Please just give us a second. We're just transitioning the video. So thanks again, Mr. Monroe, for sharing that detailed presentation on the traffic as well as the works being implemented by MBJ, showing we're investing in the infrastructure but also the human capital. We're in a service industry, and so the staff is very much important to everything that we do here at MBJ and SIA, and also highlighting the certifications and awards that we all collectively have won. MBJ is not able to do it alone, but as Mr. Monroe mentioned, the over 7,000 persons who operate here, who work here at MBJ, including all the operators, stakeholders, staff. And again, all of this is being done to ensure that we are able to meet the needs of the passengers that will come, but above all, to ensure that the people of Jamaica, the owners of the airport, they can take pride in their gateway to the world. I will now continue and speak on the MBJ Foundation. So we have registered a foundation, and I am sure by the next Airport Forum we'll have another huge project that we will unveil, and that is the building of a block at the Flankers Primary School. We are still in the stages of discussing with the Ministry of Education and the school, but we'll have more information on that, and that's something that we think is definitely going to be a game changer for MBJ, Montego Bay airports in general. But we have more information at the next forum on that. So we'll go into one of our major initiatives, and that is the MBJ Team Sangster Charity Run Walk. And this year we'll be hosting the 5th anniversary, so it's a great milestone for us. And this event, it brings together the airport community along with the wider community, promoting health and wellness, but most importantly, supporting academic dreams for students who are in need. This initiative is now a cornerstone of our community outreach, and we have played a vital role in providing the much needed financial support towards education for children in Western Jamaica. We started out with St. James, we expanded it to Western Jamaica, expanded it further last year, and this year the intent is for this to be an island-wide initiative where persons, no matter where they're from, where they attend school, once they're in need, they can apply for the grants that are available. Next. This just gives a synopsis of when we started the foundations of 2019. The first year we raised 3.5 million, went to 4.5, and we doubled in 2023 to 11 million. We doubled in 2024, 22 million. We're in the 5th year. I'm not going to tell anybody we're going to do 50 million, but we would be very, very happy. But MBJ, we are not able to do it alone. And you can see from this the growth in not just the monies raised, but the impact on the persons. So last year, we had a direct impact on over 1,000 students. And this is something that we think is definitely, and not just MBJ, but the fact that we have the partners on board, it shows that we all see that there is a real need to ensure that our students can stay in school, continue their education, to be vital contributors to Jamaica. Okay, so what do we do with all these funds? We mentioned 1,000 persons benefited last year and almost 1.5 benefited over the 5 years, and we have been growing. So we have the grant application forms that are now available online. We actually have seen some applications submitted so far, but we seek your assistance in ensuring all students, especially those in need, are aware that there is money available. It's a very simple form, and they just need to complete and state what their needs are and why they think they should benefit from this, the funds from this run walk. So all this run that we have been doing, we have been reaching out to partners, and all the funds go towards this grant for financial assistance to students. So again, we're just going to ask for everyone to share the information in all your groups, community groups, church, school, everywhere, and especially with students who you know who are in need. One second, please.
So what happens is that Shane, you're more basic, but the acoustics in the room also there's more echo when you shout. So maybe if you try and talk softer, because you're getting a feedback, it won't get in the same
Okay, thank you. Sorry for that, but we understand there was a feedback, so we'll try as best as possible. Okay, so just to continue again, so September 7th is when we will host the 5th anniversary of this charity run walk. So it's Sunday, September 7th. Everybody here by 5:30, we have to warm up, and then the race starts at exactly 6 a.m. Adults $2,500, children $1,500, and you can see some of the sponsors who have committed to being on board thus far, and we don't want persons to wait last minute. We are just about 2 months away, but we want all the partners to benefit, have the maximum benefit from this initiative and the marketing that comes with it. And so we invite all persons on this platform, as well as other companies, anyone, and again, for companies that are not able to sponsor, you can sponsor your team. You don't have to come on as a sponsor with MBJ if you're not able to, but you can sponsor your team, or you can share the information, again, as I said, with your community group, church groups, schools, all, in all your spheres. And just to get the support, again, for the run that now raises funds for the grant applications. So we want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors. Some have been with us since inception, and we want to say thank you. Airports Authority of Jamaica, they were with us since 2019, and they have come on as a title sponsor going forward. So we want to say thanks, AAJ, as well as all the sponsors who have been with us, and we welcome others to join us for this really worthy cause, where we are raising funds, where our students can pursue their education to become well-rounded individuals and members of the society and future leaders. So, want to say thank you, and again, feel free, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us here at MBJ regarding the foundation and the charity run. Okay?
Afternoon, morning, Sue.
Good morning. Okay, so I will now hand over to our Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport, the Honorable Darrell Vaz, to address us.
Thank you, good morning again to everybody. Welcome to the forum. Just have a few brief remarks and updates. Many of which have been already discussed and spoken to by three and the other presenters. So I will leave out the MBJ. So our airports are major contributors and an engine of growth in the national economy, playing a very central role in the travel and tourism industry. As a result, the airports are by nature very capital-intensive facilities with ongoing expansion and other capital improvement programs geared towards meeting traffic growth, industrial regulatory compliance, improve efficiency, and maintain high quality of customer service in the travel and tourism industry. The AAJ operated airports beyond Fleming International Airport and the domestic aerodromes, and the concession operated by SIA and NIA has a total capital program budget provision of $152 million US, $25 billion Jamaican dollars for 25-26, and $372 million US, 61 million over the planning horizon from 26 to 29. As per the 25-26 budget submission, MBJ has capital projects for 68 million US, 11 billion program between 26 and 29, of which 29 million, 4 billion is program for 25-26. MBJ continues implementation of a range of projects spoken to earlier under its master plan program that is aimed at meeting the medium-term demand of the airport up to 2034. So I will skip the SIA details that have already been spoken to, and pretty much just give a quick overview on other AAJ activities and plans. Those include the line extension aerodrome, which is at far advanced stage. We go to the Public Investment Committee for approval to further the development of a proposed project to acquire and upgrade the line extension aerodrome. The aerodrome will serve and provide air to South Central Elizabeth and surrounding areas As I said, the project proposal is now going through the approval process via the public sector investment appraisal branch. We have to secure approval for implementation. We have the Ken Jones Aerodrome Port Antonio, which the airport authority has engaged consultants for undertaking an analysis of the possible further expansion and development potential for the Ken Jones Aerodrome into an international port of entry. However, expansion is not feasible on the current site or identified an alternate site. This is the view of providing greater area capability for Eastern Jamaica in response to tourism development and other plans held by the government. You will recall that the Prime Minister made announcements about Tinsapen and Miguel. So the airport's authority has been pursuing steps in the requisite processes to fulfill the announcements of the Most Honourable Prime Minister in his budget presentation on 2023. The Tinsapen relocation to now on International Airport. The airport's authority has been engaged in a consultation process with Port Authority and the National Works Agency to develop a plan for the relocation of Tinsapen to Norman International Airport. Pakistan concessionaires have also been engaged and has provided a proposed plan for accommodating some of Tinsapen's operations at Norman. In addition, consultants engaged by the AHA are now conducting a study for possible alternative sites for the establishment of an alternative aerodrome for Tinsapen. We're hoping to conclude these studies by September 2025. Last but by no means least is Miguel Airport, for which the AHA engaged consultants that have not completed a master plan for the development of international airports at least London, Western. The airport location is about 20 minutes away from the Great 7 Mile Strip, where most of the hotels are. The airport will also serve and expand tourism and economic activity in Western parishes of Jamaica. The project will now be taken to the government projects investment approval process, followed by investment modality and implementation. Total project cost estimated is $460 million over phase development plan, which is expected to be implemented through a public-private partnership modality. So there are things that are happening. We got overview on MPG, which seems to be moving pace. I was there recently. I'm quite impressed with the advancements that have been taking place since I last went. In closing, I want to speak just briefly on the SIA concession agreement. There has been an enterprise team set up to look at the possibility of negotiating an early extension of that license, concession agreement. Licensing made up since yesterday, 3 JPS. But this is a concession agreement because what we find is that in the latter years of the concession agreement, the pace of investment slows down based on the length of time left on the concession agreement. Yet still the competition to MBJ is alive and well, which means we have to move apace to keep competitive with other destinations and airports in and around the Caribbean. So that enterprise team has been set up to look at the possibility of a early extension, which would allow for much more investment to take place in a shorter time than waiting until the concession agreement is at the end of life and then going through a voting process to identify through government procurement, another round of tenders, requests for proposals. So it's premature to say much more in relation to that until such time as the enterprise, which has been named and they have their terms of reference, have done their due diligence to come back to cabinet with recommendations and options. But I want to put that on the table because the fact of the matter is that what has transpired with our airports is that we have marketed well to bring people to Jamaica. And I give the ministry, tourist board and the minister, kudos for that. But in terms of making sure that our infrastructure is up to the standard to meet the demand, which it is not, and even with what we are doing now, by the time we finish that, we will still be behind the eight ball in terms of projecting future airport traffic, and of course making sure that we have infrastructure to cope with it. And we all know the experiences in Montego Bay between 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock on a daily basis, the amount of lights and the congestion, etc., which thankfully we are getting better at, but we can't continue on that trajectory of playing catch up in terms of the marketing side of the country as a destination and the facilities and infrastructure. The person coming to Jamaica, first impression is landing in Jamaica, and the last impression is leaving Jamaica. Two very important. And in a lot of cases, the experience at landing has not been as smooth as it is in other destinations. So I'm very, very cognizant of that, and hence the reason why I believe that to wait until the expiry of this current concession agreement is not going to serve us well in terms of having the time to do the planning, get the necessary permits that are required, which is a 2-year process between start to finish, and then another 3 years of construction. So you're really talking about 5 years from concept to implementation. So with that, I say to you that I'm looking forward to see the work continue at MBJ, and that we will be shortly going to a general election, and the outcome that will determine, obviously, whether or not I will be in the seat to continue to drive the mission or not. So I think this will probably be the last forum that I will be attending between now and when that date intervenes. So look forward to seeing you after that date, if it is the people of Jamaica's hands. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you so very much, Minister. You know, MBJ, we value the partnership with the government of Jamaica, and we remain committed to continue playing our part in advancing and transforming the nation's aviation industry. And this is excellent news that you have brought to us today at our first airport forum. And as you stated, it only will work for the company, the government, as well as Jamaica, with MBJ knowing ahead of time how to invest further. So thank you so very much. Again, I just want to remind everyone that we will take your questions. Please type them in the chat. If you're using a computer, the chat button is towards the top left-hand corner, and if you're using a mobile phone, it's to the bottom of the screen. So please place your questions in the chat. We have 2 questions thus far, and I'll read the questions and then respond. I love the planned additional hotel lounges. Are there improvement plans for the current hotel lounges, especially for us to accommodate bags on the outside, similar to the allotment for other stakeholders? So we have plans to extend the ground transportation arrivals hall where we will house additional spaces for lounges, but there will be some renovation work also inside the existing ground transportation hall. And at that time, we will have more dialogue with the existing stakeholders as to how this space will be utilized. Hope I've answered the question. Next question. It is amazing all the improvements that are being done at the location to increase customer satisfaction, and I wonder about the attention to the internal customers from agencies regarding required development to office facilities. So we are aware that not all there are some space constraints in terms of offices, and we are working on that. There are some agencies that we know there is a grave demand, and we have plans in place to work on new locations or renovate some existing locations to house those agencies.
Those are the only two.
Okay, those are the only two questions we have seen thus far.
One more.
Okay, hold on, one is coming.
Carrie's asking about the project start time, but I'm not sure which project she's referring to.
Can you see? Just remember, place your questions in the chat.
Can't see it.
The question is, I'm not sure whether the project start time was stated. We're not sure which project. Mr. Monroe gave a list of projects, that some currently underway, some took comments. I know there was a slide starting 2027 or 26 to 30, but I'm not sure which project. So if the person could just expound, please. Okay, well, it would appear that we were very detailed and provided all the information that was needed. And if that's the case, well, we want to say thank you so very much for your time and for joining us here today. And so thank you again for joining us here for our airport forum, and December we will have the second airport forum. So please, we have one question coming in. What plans does MBJ have to address the passenger traffic bottleneck that currently exists? Have talks been established with airline stakeholders, hoteliers to expand flight schedules to spread the traffic? So this is a challenge we have. We have 24 hours in the day, and we really work with 80% of the traffic operating in 4 hours of the day. We have an airport that can operate 24 hours should we have that demand. However, just based on us being a tourist destination, this is not unique to us. It happens in other locations. However, we have had many discussions with our airline stakeholders, hoteliers, everyone on this. And what we have done to mitigate, when we have new flights operating, we have indicated that they must operate outside of this window, the peak 4 hours that we operate between 11 and 3. And so we have seen that happening, and this has definitely assisted in the congestion that we see. We have also done other things. So we are expanding the terminal as well as the use of technology. So we see those things also mitigating the congestion that we see. Of course, there are going to be times and in the year and peaks in some days where we will still have that, but it's not as bad as it was a few years back. Another question, how does the operator go about ensuring that the process of awarding retail and advertising space is competitive and fair for all? Also that provide. Okay, so yes, so what we normally do, we go through what we call a request for proposal, and we outline guidelines and for persons making a submission. And persons have to abide by these guidelines, as well as we normally share how we score, how we rate the proposals that we receive. So it's a very transparent process. We normally send to the public. We post it on social media, in print media, as well as we also send to any listing, persons who have an interest in anything here at the airport. They can send us, we save their name if we have no space at this time, no availability, and once we have availability, they'll be added to the list. But it's a very transparent process where it's very detailed. Everybody is using the same document as a guide, and it comes internally. It's not a one person that reviews, it's a whole team of different departments that review. It then goes to the CEO and goes to the board. So that's the process. So a very transparent process. Thank you. Wonder what the return on investment for the 118 million. If SIA is investing that amount, what's the payback period? What's the multiplier effect for the island? Sorry, I don't have the answer at the moment. I don't know if Mr. Monroe is able to assist with that question. But again, we are mandated by the government to ensure that we make the investment, to ensure that we have the facility and infrastructure here for the passengers. We have a timeline for our concession agreement, which currently expires 2031. 34. And so whatever investments that we make, we do hope that we'll have a payback period by then. But we are mandated by the government to make this investment, and even where we're not mandated, where we see we operate a business and where we see it will make sense for the customers, for the company, for Jamaica, we also make that investment. So thank you. All right, so thank you so very much again for joining. And we had said we didn't want to go over 2 hours, and we did not. So thank you. Sorry for the glitches in terms of the audio, so on. But the next airport forum will be in person, and so I hope you all will be able to join us here for that in December, and the details will be sent shortly. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the day.